What is up, loud and proud crowd? Hope everybody is doing great today. We are out in the barn right now with my father. We are trying to finalize our order that we are going to try to place here with Pusher, but we're trying to go back and forth and try to figure out, all the true benefits of this stuff. And instead of just trying to guess it, we're just going to give Pusher a call, actually. Try to get a hold of the head guy there and just kind of see and get his take on it and, all the benefits and features that the system would actually provide that we're trying to set up and go with on this truck, and get his take on that.
This is what we got. We got two 12 valves, of course. If you've been on the channel for any period of time, you know that we like trucks, right? So just if you're new to the channel, if you haven't seen, this is our first gen. I bought this particular truck April of last year, and when I first saw it, fell in love with it. And so what we did is they had less than 85,000 original miles on it. So we've just been doing some little tinkering here and there, and one of the things that drew my attention right away when I was looking for parts was the Pusher system, and partly just because it's a good system, good reviews and so forth, but it also, when you pop that hood, it stands out and looks super cool. So now that puts us in a dilemma to where we have one engine. When you open it, looks good, but when we have nasty red here, we want to figure out exactly what needs to be done to not just look really good underneath the hood, but to be functional and be able to get us the horsepower that we need to make this thing a towing machine. So we have with Pusher, we have their website pulled up, and they have a variety of different products and stuff for these particular trucks. So what we want to do is we're going to call Jacob from Pusher, and we're just going to kind of get a rundown from him, since this is his stuff, this is his world. It's kind of new to us. We know the basics, but when you have the access to a master, why not talk to the master regarding, what products we should be able to put on this thing right away. So we're going to see if we can't get a hold of Jake and just see what his thoughts are and what we need to do to give this thing the power that it needs to pull some heavy loads of hay, tractors, trucks, or whatever we want to do.
Hello, it's Jacob.
Hey Jake, we got Dr. Joel, and then I have Malachi from Loud and Proud here. We got a couple questions for you. Got a minute?
Yeah, sure. What you got?
Okay, so we have our 12 valve that we worked on a while back, the first gen, and I bought your products, and we have basically the cold air intake as well as the intercool system. Beautiful, highly functional, love the work. It's just, when we put especially the air intake on that new turbo with those injectors, it's unreal. I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch any videos. It's unreal, just the increase in performance here. So we've been super happy with it. But we have another build. I've called and talked a couple times with a variety of different people, and it's basically a second gen. And what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to put a truck together that can basically be a tow beast, to where maybe 500, 600 horsepower. Just turn this thing into a really good functional machine. And I looked on your website. You got a couple different products. You have actually several products for these second gens. And I've got my eye on this compound turbo system. So I want to ask you basically, what can you tell me about that, and is that the right fit for what we're looking for? And then I want to kind of whirl into some of the intake stuff that you have as well, to see if we can't figure out what the best fit is for the needs of this particular truck.
Sure. Basically, behind a compound system is, broad, very linear power delivery. And so, especially when you're towing, that's critical. The factory turbo is relatively small, it responds well, drives good, it's a good little unit, but when you start talking numbers like 500 and 600 horse, it's totally out of the question. It'll support 350, 400, but anything above that, you're really on borrowed time, and then, like I said, 500, 600 is definitely out of the question. Kind of in the past, the solution has always been just put a bigger turbo on it, and to make, 500, 600, whatever power number you want, but, turbos have what we call an efficiency range, where they make power efficiently, and so the turbo that's going to make 500 or 600 horse is not going to respond that well on the bottom end, especially with the older 12 valves and stuff. And so, again, if you're going to be towing with this truck, you really need that power, that low end power, and efficiency as well. If that turbo's not spooling, you're going to be wasting a lot of fuel, and your fuel economy is going to drop, especially in the lower RPMs and around town. Because of that, compounds are really kind of like the answer for that, and so we developed that kit, because you can pretty much, for the same sizing set of chargers, support 300 all the way up to almost 700 horse, and really cover that power range really, really well.
I saw on your website too that you guys have together like this pretty cool video that you put together in terms of just installing it in your shop. That was a nice video. It really helped out a lot, because it looks like it's super easy to put together too, which is kind of cool. So that's really, when I saw that thing, the picture alone was like a seller, but then when I put that video on and saw that, it really made a difference too.
Like I was saying, the factory charger is pretty small, has great low-end response and whatnot, and so it works really good down low. getting the load moving, all that. But as you start to get through your mid and upper RPM range where you're demanding obviously more air, it starts to run out of steam. It gets outside of where it's efficient at converting exhaust energy to boost, basically.
Okay.
And so, it has, fortunately, built into it a wastegate, which basically bypasses exhaust around the turbine wheel. And so that is really a critical component in compounds, because what it allows you to do is basically put a larger charger downstream of the exhaust behind it that scavenges all the exhaust coming out of the charger, and then in the upper RPM range, all the exhaust is going to bypass it through that wastegate. So you rely on your factory charger for your low-end power delivery and whatnot, and then as you start to get, on the highway speeds, towing, things like that, where you're demanding more horsepower, that larger charger takes care of some of the workload, lets the small one stays down, and it's lower RPM range where it's sufficient, and the large one does more of the top-end work. So you kind of split the workload between two turbos.
Okay, that helped out a lot, just that explanation. So that takes me to the next step, which is the intercool stuff. So when we look at that, you have two different units. You have multiple pieces and different parts and stuff that you can do in terms of that. But what I'm referring to is at the top of your web page, where it looks like there's the Mega Twin, and then just to the right of that, it looks like just the Mega Intake. So tell me the difference between the two, and then setting up the way we want to set it up, what's going to be the best fit for this particular truck?
So obviously the difference between the Mega and the Mega Twin is a twin part. The cool thing about these second-gen trucks that you're going to play with is the factory intercooler inlet now is 3.5 inch, and then the inlet to the head is actually, that shape, it's kind of like a little square shape, is the same cross-sectional area as 3.5 inch too. But these trucks, they came with 160 horsepower from the factory. They came with basically 3-inch tubing that connects the intercooler to the motor and the turbo. And so recognize that there's a lot of room by just upsizing that tubing and the intake manifold and whatnot all to 3.5 inch. A half inch doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about circles and area, it adds up to be a little over 50% more available area for air to flow through. So it's nice. It really takes advantage of the more expensive components that are already there. In the case of doing what you're going to do with the bigger turbo, the compounds, you're going to be moving a lot more air. So taking advantage of that efficiency, it's free power basically. And it's obviously a lot better on the motor because you're getting more air and stuff. That's the premises behind the whole 3.5 inch thing, and the regular 3.5 inch setup. The twin setup, with all these Cummins motors, the manifold bolts basically to the front of the engine. It's biased to the front. It's right around cylinders 1 and 2. So those front cylinders get good air delivery. But then as you get back to like 5 and 6, they're farther away. Cylinders 1 through 4 already got to pull air from the what's being delivered, and so it's pretty common for the Cummins to run hotter in the back because of that. And so unfortunately with the 12 valve heads, you can get access to that plenum cover or intake plenum cover, and so we split off and do another basically outlet flange further back on the head to get the rear cylinders better, more equalized flow delivery.
That makes sense.
These motors are used for a lot of different applications, commercial, marine, whatnot, and actually in the bottom of that plenum there's a little boss there for a spin-on filter for another application, and it actually puts a little hump, or actually a pretty good-sized hump in the bottom of the plenum, which is right behind where the factory manifold bolts. So with the Mega Twin, you get another outlet back behind that hump and kind of skip past it, and so it's another little added advantage of that.
That's super cool. That sounds like to me like that's probably what we're going to do then, because I love the way it looks in the first gen. I put that picture all over my Instagram and whatnot. It just looks great. Makes the truck even better. But obviously functional is a good thing too. I always believe that it's better to prevent a problem versus wait for it to appear. So when I'm trying to increase the horsepower and so forth, if this was your build, is there any other preventative type of things that you would recommend that we do or look out for in terms of making sure that things are set up properly?
Yeah, there's definitely some other things you want to do depending on the kind of power level you want to make. The compounds and the intake manifold, all that stuff is really protects the motor per se. The more air you can get these things, the better.
Right.
Horsepower is what starts breaking parts. So if you guys are going to make anything over like 400 horse, I would definitely say go ahead with a set of head studs. Definitely anything over 400. Usually below that you can get away with it, especially if you just mindful of how you drive the truck and stuff. To make 500 to 600 horse, you're definitely going to want some injectors. 5 by 12 range is pretty good. You can go a little bigger if you got to hit 600. Delivery valves, the kind of the basics. Probably want those, and definitely some valve springs and things like that. It just depends on where you want to hit power wise, what you need to support that.
So it sounds like that's pretty much what I'm going to have to do then. You notice I said have to do because once not an issue here, this is a have to build a cool truck. So that's what I tell my wife. So don't tell her there's a difference there. So. we have to get a good, powerful truck. So nonetheless, that's what it is.
So the cool thing on these old trucks is, you know, they really can hang with the newer ones with the right setup.
Yeah.
You know, especially the older Dodges, they're mainly box frame. They're, you know, disc brakes in the front, and they're very capable if they're set up correctly. And you know, if you do it right, you can really make a nice truck for a lot less money.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we've been pulling hay in trailers with I just had my KingRanch deleted and stuff, and that thing pulls nice. But what I'm trying to do is get this to where there's always going to be a difference. But if I can get this thing horsepower up and just make it into a nice farm truck and just kind of a cool truck, then why not, right? You're exactly right on that. What I put into this truck and what I put into KingRanch, big difference. So
one thing a lot of people actually don't know with compounds is, especially when you're towing at highway speeds, because of that reducing some of the workload on the factory charger, you actually get a lot better fuel economy when you're using the truck. You know, around town stays pretty much the same, but anything, you know, highway speeds, unloaded, time and time again, my trucks and pretty much all the customers we deal with are getting like 1 to 2. And then if you're towing anything that's, you know, of size and weight, you know, it's pretty much a solid 3, maybe 4 miles to the gallon, depending on, you know, what it is and what the truck setup is. So they actually can, you know, pay for themselves over time, and especially with EVT control and whatnot. They're not all just, you know, go. They actually kind of have other features that are really nice.
awesome. Well, Jake, I always appreciate your time and service, and I'll give you a call back and let you know exactly. I guess there's one more thing we have to figure out, which is what kind of cool, you have so many cool options now. We're just got to nail down the color aspect of things. I'll let you know once we decide on that.
Okay, yeah, we keep 6 colors in stock of pretty much everything. Whatever you guys need, we should have it.
Sounds good. All right, I appreciate it. You have a blessed one.
You too, man. Have a good day.
Yep. Well, I'm sold. He didn't have to say anything, because when I see this picture right here, this is the thing. So here's Pusher's website. We brought this out, the Mac, because we're trying to really figure out, and when we pull this up, we could see this picture right here. And as soon as you see that, if you're like me, you just want to buy it because it looks so cool. But this is what he was talking about, and the difference between the Mega Twin and then the Mega, because when we look at the first gen, it looks more like this. But with the Mega, what he's talking about is having that extra horn off there. It totally makes sense the way he was describing it, in terms of making sure that there's more air to the back of the engine and so forth, and just getting more overall to it. So I'm sold on the fact that for this application, I'm going to go with that one, just because it seems like the right thing to do, whether it is or not. I think it looks cool too, so there's something to that. But here's the deal. This thing, in terms of the compound system, we have to establish what kind of color scheme that we want. So let's roll through those real quick. Can you see that on the computer?
Yeah, that's good.
So here's the thing. We have the blue one, which looks flipping cool. And you always like the blue stuff, didn't you? That's what you were going to do with the old girl thing, but
yeah, in the OG second gen, I was going to do that.
The OG. This one here, we got the orange. I think that's called.
Purple.
That's different. This is more like the first gen, which I'm just.
That's kind of like it kind of gives it like that Christmassy look with the green filter and the red. I don't know why.
That's good. I mean, I love that, and the reason I liked it that's what Mom likes. Yeah, so you can spend more if it pleases Mama Bear. But the reason I liked that with the first gen was just because obviously when you open the hood and you see the red lettering, I just thought it would complement it pretty cool. So, but the thing we got to take in consideration is that's a white truck, and so this is not a white truck.
It's kind of it's faded, so it kind of looks like maroon and silver, but it's supposed to be red.
That's the thing. The nice thing is that, I mean, if we can, I want to match it up to where it's not going to look stupid when you pop the hood, and just, not that it really matters too much, but in the same sense, if it looks totally off.
And like I tell everybody, if you're gonna spend your money, spend it on something you want. You know what I mean?
No regrets with that. Now here's a different one. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, I was telling my dad that's the color I wanted for my dually.
That's pretty cool too.
But they get a little bit of something for everybody, They get a little bit of,
Yeah. So that's really where we're at with that. Oh, this is the video too. If you've never seen, if you heard me just a moment ago when I was on the phone, this was one of the big selling points too when I came across the pusher stuff. Was if you go to their pusher system, you can go by vehicle and then pick your whether it's a Dodge, the Duramax, or the Powerstroke. We just went down here, of course, to the year of our truck. But when you go down to the compounds, they have this video here, which actually it's really cool. So even if you're not thinking about compounds, I recommend looking at it just because it kind of gives you an idea of just how how it works.
We can
pretty
throw
cool.
a link to Push's website down below too for you guys to go check it out.
Yeah, and I think they have some really cool stuff on their Instagram too, like in terms of just different pics and stuff like that. But nonetheless, what I don't know what color to choose. I'm basically kind of leaning towards this one, but in the same sense, what do you think we should do?
I don't know. I don't know what all the exact colors are, but how about you guys leave comments down there and put Pusher whatever color you want. There's specific Pusher colors. So let's look at that list.
Okay.
Leave your comments down below. Which one of those colors, which one of those Pusher colors do you guys want to put down? So
I want to get this thing ordered in the barn, in the shop here, sometime real soon. So what we got going on is I'm trying to finalize. I've been working not exclusively on this stuff, but emails here and there throughout the day. We're trying to line up specifically the tires and wheels. I've been going through some different options, but what I'm trying to keep in consideration is not just looking cool and being functional, but functional is the key thing. I want to get tires that withstand the most amount of weight, just because if I put a heavy trailer on there, some of these tires, although they're E-rated and they're 10 ply and they'll probably be fine, they're rated only for 2,600 pounds, and other ones are rated for like 32, 35, 3,600 pounds. So I'm trying to take that consideration.
So what do you think in terms of tires?
In terms of tires? The ones I like the most that seem to have the highest rating from the ones I've come across are the Pro Comp Extremes. But they have some Mickey Thompson. There's of course the Toyos. But I like the Pro Comp Extremes just because I think each tire was rated at about 400 pounds higher per tire than the other ones. So if we had a dually, it's a different situation.
Gives you 2 extra tires back there.
But we don't, yeah. So it'd probably be fine, but nonetheless, just for safety purposes, there's nothing worse than having a custom tire. When I say custom, it's not factory, so it's not like you have a spare underneath the thing. So you got a big heavy trailer load on and you get a flat tire, and that pretty much sucks. So don't want to be there. But nonetheless, we need help picking a color, and then after that we're just finalizing. Basically, we should have the exhaust coming in, some shocks. We'll put some shocks on. What else did we order? What else did we order in the process of ordering? There's a lot of stuff.
Head studs,
Head studs,
exhaust.
yeah. We got to get those.
There's a ton of parts coming in for this thing.
Well, it was good to hear that, like the list that we were putting together already is kind of like what Jake was just saying. It's we're on the same track, like in terms of that stuff, which is nice to be able to see and know.
We had a good talk with the other guys we're trying to work with too, and it's kind of good to know that they're both kind of lining up, so we know how.
Well, and that's
2 different perspectives of.
One thing I've noticed, because you're right, is we obviously like firearms and we like just good old manly American stuff, so to speak. But when you call somebody who works for like a reloading company, I do a lot of reloading stuff. These are like good people. These are people who they love what you love, and they're super good. And that's what I found in the diesel community as well. Is you're just talking about people who are good people. They're friendly, like with Jake on the phone. Like, I love dealing with people like that. Not people who are grouchy or basically tear people down, but they're just great people. So that's the nice thing about dealing with companies like this is. It's first class all the way, so nonetheless, couldn't be happier.
Okay, so this company is not sponsoring this video, but guys, this thing right here, I was just telling my dad, I'm like, I might as well give it a little plug because, it's got my phone charging out here. We're out in the barn. I mean, you could plug in the laptop to this while we're out here in the barn. You're plugging 3 phones if you want. It's got, lighting accessories, and it's just cool. It's just cool, and it's really easy to charge it. You can solar charge it, just plug it in your room, whatever you want to do with it.
You use this thing all the time.
I do. I was telling my dad, I carry this thing around. I just carry this around in my hand with my phone. I'm like, who even needs a wall charger anymore? Just carry that thing around. But anyways, I'll leave a link to this down in the description below because it did help out.
It saves your
that we had some, internet service out here. So
I'm like, turn your hotspot on. You're like, my phone's dead. I'm like,
you get the little generator.
Use your little generator. Turn that thing on.
Yeah, link in the description for this thing. Guys, my life has been changed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of that call. And it's not just about, oh, this part's cool or this part. There's real benefits and there's real good positive things about that. And we wanted to find that out for ourselves. And we just figured, why not break out the camera and get that call and film so we can possibly help you guys out with your decision as well. Sound good?
Good.
So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash that like button, leave your comments down below. Let us know what color. Put Pusher and then put the color down below that you guys want to see in the thing, and we'll go through, we'll kind of, take a pick, and in the end, it's up to him what color he wants, but he definitely wants help picking out that color and kind of getting your thoughts and opinions on that as well. So thanks so much. Check out that little gadget over there. Check out Pusher's website. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe, join the team. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Doing what I love, going day to day, but I know it takes time and I'm patiently waiting. Sometimes I contemplate, cause one day you feel so close and the next is out of sight. But I know I gotta hold on tight to go back to just going out every night. Like if I'm about to let it go now, I can live alright, live a normal life, doing 9 to 5. But I know I'm more than that. I gained this skill, wasn't born with that. At the end of the life, it's a memory.